of the party.
What about you, Ray?
I'm the type of person that is like you, whether it hurts my feelings or not. If I'm fucking up, please tell me, because if you don't tell me, I'm just gonna keep doing the same dumb shit that you don't like. I've always said the main things I need in a woman, and I'm pretty sure y'all heard me say it all the fucking time, is knowing to be a cheerleader, be a head coach. The head coach part is letting me know if I'm fucking up. That way, you could just pull me to the side, or just have a talk to me, because you may see things that I'm not seeing, and it's probably like, and it might hinder the relationship or the future of our family. So you pull me to the side, and you can be like, "Hey, you fucking up. All right. I need you out here to, as the protective provider, I need you to do these things that keep us safe and sound. What you're doing right now is really not benefiting not just yourself, but the family as well. So I need you to get whatever it is that funk is, you get your head in the game, and I need you to go back out there and produce like I know you could." Like, that's the head coach talking. Like, it's, it's like, and I if even if my feelings get hurt, the fact that you tell me that is, at least I can at least admire that you telling me that, because most people would just let that fester until it blows up, and then you're like, you never do, this, and it's like, you never mentioned this before. Why are you ain't telling me now? And it's just like, and I'm gonna be honest with you, like, I could, like, some hits I could probably catch on a few, but there's some things like you're gonna have to literally tell me, or it's not gonna get done. So it's like, if you tell me, I will make sure it get done. So that's mostly just let That's, I guess that's the communication part. Just let a brother know.
I had a client who I did her divorce, and we'd spend a lot of time together, because you do, when you're a divorce lawyer, you spend a lot of time with people and you get to know them very well. I mean, people will lie to their therapist. They won't lie to their divorce lawyer because A, there's no reason to, and B, I need to know everything, and it's all attorney-client privilege. And this woman, we were sitting outside the courtroom waiting on a break in testimony, and she was a young woman in her probably like late 30s, very attractive. And we were just chit-chatting, and I said to her, was there a moment when you realized the marriage is over? Like, was there a moment? And she said, yeah. And I said, when was it? And she said, there was this granola that I like. She said, they only sold it at like this particular grocery store, and I like to put it in my yogurt. And she said, he used to always, whenever I'd be running low on it, I would just open the thing one day and a new bag would be there. She's like, and she's like, it made me feel so loved. Like, I didn't have to ask. He didn't want credit for it. Like, he didn't go like, oh, did you see? I got your granola that you wanted, like, he just would do this thing, And she said it was just something that, like, it always made me smile. She said every time the granola was running low and there was a new bag of granola, I just felt very loved, And she said one day the granola ran out. And I thought, oh, that's weird. Maybe he didn't see it. She's like, so I left the bag in there because I thought, well, at some point he'll notice. And he didn't notice. She goes, so I took the bag out and I waited, and he didn't get a new bag. And I thought, okay, this thing's going down. And I thought to myself, wow, that's like, that's such a small thing, like granola. Like, you just, but these are the things, like, these are the little things that make us feel loved and that are gestures of love. And when I said to her, was there anything like that for you with him? And she said, yeah, blowjobs. And I almost spit out my coffee. And she goes, no. She goes, when we were first dating and even first married, she's like, I used to give him blowjobs a lot. She's like, do it in the morning. It took 2 minutes. And he was like super happy the rest of the day, She's like, the rest of the day, he would like call me or text me and be like, oh, that was so good this morning. I had such pep in my step now. And she's like, it was just like, what did it really take out of my life to do that? And it made him feel good. She's like, and then I got to a point where I was like, well, you know what? No, I'll wait. And then tonight we can have sex and we'll both enjoy that. Like, what is, I owe him a blowjob? Like, no, you know, like I don't owe him that, you know? And then she said, I got to a point where it was like, I look back and I'm like, yeah, I guess I didn't do that as often, hardly ever really,
Which came first?
You know, I said that to her and she said, I couldn't tell you. She said, but I think it's the same thing.
It's the same thing.
And I do think it's the same thing.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying blowjobs and granola is all you need to know, but, and I'm not, by the way, I'm not saying that a blowjob is a small thing. I don't think I have any right to. I've never given one, but it seems like a phenomenal feat. And I'm grateful for everyone I've ever received, but I don't think it's a massive investment. Right? Just like buying someone's granola is not a mess.
But when you love somebody, you love doing things for them.
Right. Their pleasure
you love
pleases
making
you.
their life better.
Their joy pleases you. Like their happiness makes you happy.
Exactly.
And somewhere along the line, and it happens a lot in marriage, it becomes, well, I'm not happy. Why should you be happy? You know? And then that creates a spiral. And I really believe that that spiral could go in the other direction. Like if he did the granola, I think the blowjobs would have come, you know? And if the blowjobs were there, I bet he'd have bought the granola. Like I can't prove that. There's no control group, you know? I can't run that research, but it feels to me like those little things, like leaving a note, you know, I've said to some of my friends, you know, when they say to me, like, you know, as a divorce lawyer, you know, you see all this misery, like, how do I stay out of your office? And I'll often say, I'm like, it's dumb little things, man. I'm like, just leave her a note. I'm like, leave her a note in the morning. Just leave a little note, says, hey, beautiful, you know, so it was so fun watching that movie with you last night. So glad we got to have a date. I'll be thinking of you today. Love you. Like, what does that take? That takes like a
two things. The episode is called this after party episode is called Granolas and BJs. Just wanted to let y'all know. I don't know if y'all saw the title. And secondly, when I talk about like head coaches and cheerleaders, know when to be a cheerleader and head coach, he kind of like, to me, he kind of explained it, like the whole, like the granola bar thing. It was, you know, and the BJ thing. It's just like it got a pep in the step. It's just like something. It's like it doesn't have to be major. You just like cheer a person on or do something for them that you know they like, and you know it keeps them motivated to like do stuff for you. And it's like that's what I feel like being a cheerleader is. It's like being a motivator. It's just to keeping the person doing what they should do and doing what they're supposed to do, especially if they're doing it right. You just like, at least give them a little bit of reward. I kind of like compare it like to like the way video games, they have like daily goals and monthly goals and like weekly goals and all that other stuff. It's like you do your daily goal, it's a small reward, but it keeps it interesting. You get your weekly goals, it may take longer. You get bigger goals. The monthly rewards, obviously, the longer it takes, the bigger the reward is. So it's just like if he's doing stuff that that he or she is supposed to be doing, at least what you could do reward him. You ain't gotta like bow at his feet. I'm not telling you to bow at his feet, but you know, like, hey, yo, just good job. Keep doing what you're doing and all that stuff. That's what I mean. That's exactly what I mean by like knowing when to be the cheerleader and a head coach.
a minute, not even. Like, and look what it can do. Like, look at how that makes this person feel. And even if right away it doesn't work, on that moment it doesn't work, okay, do it enough times. Like, and then you're either going to figure out that this person's gone, and then just fucking bail. You're done. Because if you try for long enough and you give like that, but if you're not giving like that, and then you're not getting back either, well, I'm not surprised. You know, that's how you end up in my office, is this death spiral of everyone like, well, I'm not buying the granola. She's not giving me blowjobs. Well, I'm not giving him blowjobs. He's mean to me. Okay, well, everybody's just has an equal right to be fucking miserable then.
I think if you're happy with yourself, like truly happy with who you are at that point in your life, or whatever the situation is, I think it's easier for you to be happy with your partner.
Yeah, but I would argue that
if
you're not happy with yourself, having someone happy with you is certainly not going to hurt your feeling of who you are, right? Like, I don't I don't need someone to tell me I'm handsome for me to have a nice day, but I can't think of anybody telling me I was handsome that it ruined my day. Most of the time you're like, oh, that's nice. I got that going for me. So yeah, I think self-love, of course, is the most important love, and to be secure in who you are and to not allow your self-definition to be easily swayed or pulled. Like if you believe the good reviews, you got to believe the bad ones too. I get that. But I just don't think kindness, it's just such an easy, especially if it's easy. If it's easy stuff, like just telling someone that they're beautiful or handsome or that you're cheering for. It just, to me, with marriage or pair bonds, I shouldn't even say marriage, the world is trying to kill you all the time. People are criticizing you all the time. You feel like a failure a lot of the time. If you compare yourself to other people, you'll constantly be, comparison's the thief of joy. So why not have one person who's just cheering for you? Constructive criticism is criticism. It's still just criticism. So if your spouse is just sitting around criticizing you and telling you all the things you could do to improve yourself, instead of just being a fan and just saying, you know what, I know who you are and you're beautiful. I know who you are and your heart is good. And betting on the best parts of a person, I think that there's very little downside to that. I think it'd put guys like me out of business if people really leveraged that the right way.
I asked you earlier.
Yeah, I agree or disagree with that.
What do you think I'm gonna say?
Delusion. I honestly don't know, B. I honestly don't.
I'm sorry. Can you summarize what he said that you're asking the question about?
So he's talking about if you have to love yourself first, before you can I guess everything else can come into play. So and then somebody else loving you is like a bonus, but to be honest, if you don't love yourself, it's like everything's gonna be bad.
Then yes, I know you will definitely agree with that, B.
I What I feel like it's if you have zero sense of purpose on what you're doing or where you're going or what you want to do or what it's like, especially when there's a lot of people who get in these relationships and they lose the sense of purpose of their life. And so then it's that's when they get into the state of eventually, okay, they'll start, then that's when the divorces start to happen and stuff like that. And they don't know what to do anymore. It's like they're lost. And they've lost their self. They feel miserable, this and that. The other person is just it's like they can't see the person they originally married because that person is not there anymore. It's a shell of who they was supposed to be. So I'm I 100% agree. You need to have a sense of purpose. You need to know where you're going. Some people get to the point where I understand you want to be a housewife, you want to be a mom, a stay-at-home mom, you want to be a great wife, but you still have to have something. Like when you start losing, some people to the point where they don't know who they are anymore, so they don't have no self-love. They don't know what they look like without everything else that's around them. Then they tend to leech on to their kids, um, leech on to their husbands, and it's just we lost you.
I do think self-love is necessary, because self-love is how, if you treat yourself well, in the sense that you are aware of how you affect other people, then that's going to show in your behavior just automatically, because you've made it a habit. It's literally a part of you. That's what you've invested in. So seeing where people's priorities is at is going to depend on basically what they prioritize. And I just think that it's important that if you're in a marriage, then the priority should be shown to your spouse. You feel what I'm saying? You need to show that you fucking care, that you give a fuck. And if it's natural, then it'll just show. But if you like, because there are some people that genuinely go through a lot of like depression and shit. But as long as you are aware of it and you're making strides to address that due to the fact that you're committed to somebody, I think that is what is important in that particular situation. And then everything else would kind of just fall into place because the other person, your your partner, your spouse, is just as committed as you. So as long as that contract isn't like compromised, you can absolutely work out any problems that you have in a marriage or like in a relationship or whatever. Sometimes I don't think it's just, oh, you're not doing this because so I'm getting a divorce. It's the divorce happens because your lack of commitment or whatever is making that particular thing not work, it's gotten to the point of no return. And I think that's the point. It's not, but and you do see some examples of people getting remarried when people get their shit together. There's that too. So I just feel like whatever situation that people have, it's going to be unique to them. So they're going to have to find a way to invest in how to fix it or to even figure out whether it's worth fixing in the first place. Because you don't want to just invest your time into something that's inevitably going to fail. So if you know that it's inevitably going to fail, once you've reached that point, then I think that's where the decisions are made.